admit, when I first heard the title Warrior Nun, I thought, this sounds kinda cheesy. It's Kristen, and today we are talking about the first season of Netflix's new series, Warrior Nun. Based off the manga-style comic book series Warrior Nun Areala by Ben Dunn, the story follows an orphan teen who, after waking up in a morgue, discovers that she now possesses superpowers as the chosen halo bearer for a secret sect of demon-hunting nuns. Sort of like a super Catholic Buffy, if you will. The story takes inspiration from the comics and even includes some of the characters, but tells the story of a new halo bearer named Ava, played by Alba Baptista, taking on the mantle from Sister Shannon in the form of a miracle. Consider subscribing if you like my videos, and drop down in the comments and share your thoughts on Warrior Nun. I would love to hear what you guys think about this one. Now, I gotta admit, when I first heard the title Warrior Nun, I thought, this sounds kinda cheesy. But after watching the trailer, I was like, wow, this show actually looks pretty badass, and I had to check it out. Demon hunting nuns might sound laughable at first, but when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense that nuns who have dedicated themselves to God are the ones fighting off these evil beings. I enjoyed the lore of this story and how it gave us a sort of unique twist on what it means to be a person of faith. In fact, throughout the series, they dive into some really interesting topics, including science versus religion, the path to heaven versus hell, angels versus demons, corruption in the church, miracles and getting a second chance at life, figuring out your path, faith versus just blindly following orders, and the power of sisterhood and found family. The show is set in Spain, parts of it also take place in Italy, and wow, it is just gorgeous. The architecture, the cinematic shots, the set dressings, just everything looks so perfect. And when it comes to the actors, Alba Baptista is such a superstar. She reminded me a little bit of Ellen Page, but also had this sort of timeless quality to her. Like, you could just picture her in a bunch of different time periods and it would so work. I truly loved her performance as the sarcastic, living life for the first time, sometimes selfish, but still has a heart of gold Ava. You know, her character was a quadriplegic who, through the power of the halo, was resurrected. And she gets this new lease on life as well as a new purpose that she's still trying to figure out. I would say my favorite scene was watching Ava on the beach realizing like this miracle of being able to walk again. I just remember watching that scene and being like, wow, this girl is a star. Shotgun Mary is another standout character who really balances this tough, badass side with this more sensitive, sort of family-focused side, and we really got to dive deeper into her character. They also set up a new sort of sisterhood with Beatrice, a sister whose family rejected her, Lilith, who was meant to be the next halo bearer, who ends up somehow connecting to an alternate divine world. Is it heaven? Is it hell? There's so many questions still around that. And Camila, another sister. I would say one of the other things I really enjoyed about this story is that nothing is really as it seems. There were some big twists and turns throughout the season, and some characters that seem like they're the bad guys might not really be as bad as it seems, and vice versa. On the other side of things, I do think that Warrior Nun took a little bit too long to find its stride. While I love the pilot, we then ended up spending like 6 episodes going back and forth chasing after Ava, and it just felt like we were wasting time. Because of that, I felt like I was sort of watching 2 different shows. The first half where Ava gets her life back and she makes these new friends and is with this cute boy, and honestly, it's a little bit of like a Little Mermaid story. And then there's this whole other story of Ava dealing with the Order of the Cruciform Sword, that sisterhood. So it just felt like there was like kind of 2 different stories going on. Even the tones of them felt very different. The group of friends ends up disappearing halfway through the show, which felt like a waste. And then just in general, I don't think that we got enough time exploring all of these characters. I think they could have cut that back and forth and chasing after Ava down significantly, developed the main characters and that sort of science versus religion storyline, especially that whole storyline with Michael, a little bit further, and then gotten straight to the story that they dive into in like the last 3 episodes or so, because that's where things get really intense. I think the cliffhanger also ended in a really strange place. Like, I think we either should have cut right when Ava is about to face the big bad, with the glow of the halo to signify that she's about to kick some butt, or, you know, continue on for another episode or 2 to really set up what we're going to be getting into next. When it comes down to it, I had a lot of fun watching Warrior Nun, but I think it was missing a few elements to really make it a tight first season. The whole religion versus science story feels like it never fully hits its intended mark, and the cliffhanger just doesn't quite land. Instead, this first season actually kind of felt like a prequel to what we would want to see in a season 2, which is a stronger sisterhood, a new adventure with a bigger and more threatening villain, what's happening to Lilith, and the truth about where that Divinium portal actually leads. I do think though that there is a lot of great potential in this series, and I personally would love to see a season 2 and see where they go next. If you guys like this one, you can check out more of my Netflix reviews right over here, and I will catch you in my next video. See ya!